Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
So, all the pollsters got the general election result horribly wrong, right? Well, not quite. There was one polling company called Survation that predicted exactly this result, a hung parliament. Their chief executive, Damien Lyons-Lowe, came on the programme on the eve of polling day last week and, well, got a pretty sceptical reception.
1 point would mean a hung parliament and the Tories losing the majority, wouldn't it?
It would mean using our most recent Scotland figures from the Sunday Post, plugging those into a Scotland predictor and plugging the doing a simple national swing and a few tweaks, nothing too special. It would mean there would be a no overall majority situation with at least a requirement for support from the DUP and perhaps not even that.
So the answer is yes.
That's a yes.
Yeah, that's a yes.
I was giving you my working, so yes, hung parliament.
Well, we got there in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm
I was beginning to lose the will to live.
I'm a massive outlier here. I'm going to be the most wrong or the most right. So I think showing my
As they say in Glasgow, is your jacket hanging by a sugary peg on this?
That's right. That's right. Okay. So
translations will follow.
We can get
let me, Deborah Madsen, do you agree with this? Is this Survation poll an outlier or in the mainstream?
It's an outlier, and you know, in a word, no, I don't think. No, I don't think so.
Well, well, well. Things turned out to Damien's rather than Deborah's way, so we brought them both back together this afternoon. We're good like that on the Daily Politics. A bit of
Well,
absolutely. Yes,
you
should eat it, just like Paddy Ashdown had to eat his hat all those years ago. Well, congratulations to you. Why did you get it so right and others got it wrong?
Because we have a consistent method that's delivered us consistent results, and in short, everybody else apart from us had changed their turnout models to assume that voters would behave in a certain way, and it had the effect of suppressing increases in Labour support and support from the young, and suppressing the reverse. So they effectively, their changes were making their raw numbers, fully weighted raw numbers, were correct. We all had the correct average Conservative and Labour numbers.
Yes.
However, after their tweaks that they'd done to try and correct the problems of the 2015 general election had added, it had the effect of doubling their Conservative lead over Labour.
Right.
And we didn't have that problem.
You could eat your humble pie if you like now, but in terms of a knee-jerk reaction, do you think there was just overcompensation from getting it wrong in 2015?
It's so interesting, isn't it? As Damien says, it's all about how the data was weighted afterwards. You think it's about the young people, but I mean, actually, if you look at it constituency by constituency, it looks as if it might be more to do with a slightly broader young, under 30s rather than under 24s, which is where a lot of people were focused. Yeah. And actually, there might be an education thing in as well. So the constituencies where there are more graduates, for example, had a higher turnout and favoured Labour.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw that playing out in what you were doing, Damien.
Well,
but was it simply a case of many more young people turning out to vote, or is that too simplistic? Because there were seats like Canterbury, for example, which has been Conservative, I think, for as long as I can remember, and it went Labour. Was that really down to lots of young people? And when I say young, of course, I mean, yes, under 35.
Right. So there are constituency by constituency examples of, let's take Cardiff Central, where you've got something like 34% of the population are 18 to 24. Now, in that case, you're going to have an extreme example of an 18 to 24 getting that percentage correct, and then they're going to vote for Labour, maybe in the 60s.
The problem is they don't turn out. That was always the sort of traditional accepting.
But they sorry to interrupt. But they did turn out in the EU referendum. 60% of them turned out of 18 to 24s, and both 18 to 24s and 25 to 34 groups, both, according to the Electoral Commission, had shown net new registrations up since the comparable period in the 2015 general election. So this is a broad And then just one more point is that our method also factors in how the likelihood to vote of older people, and of course there were lots of policies that were unattractive for older people, and that may affect their
well,
turnout.
because there's been a talk about the, but let's talk about the other end, because we were all discussing the winter fuel payments, the social care policy that would now include your house, and so on and so forth. That must have had an impact.
And I mean, obviously, when we get the detail from the exit poll, we will know for sure. But my hunch is that older people also sat on their hands a bit. I think that seems to be the case. It seems to make sense. Yeah.
Right.
Which obviously would be damaging for the Conservatives.
But broadly, taking from what Deborah and Damien have said, the Tories have a problem with young voters.
Yeah, I mean, that last point, absolutely right. Door after door of older voters saying, I'm not actually going to go and vote.
On the young.
And on the young, these things, I mean, this particular generation of young people either don't know or forgotten that, for example, Labour introduced tuition fees, and they've forgotten that now and voting
So
Labour.
you have a problem with the young?
Yeah, but these things change every election. So we were told we had a problem with...
Do they? Have you ever done... When have you done really well amongst the 18 to 24, 18 to 35-year-olds?
Well, there have been times in history where we have. Just in the same way as previously. Hold on, let me just finish the point. We've done very well in Scotland in the past and now coming back in Scotland. And, for example, 2015, people told me, as party chairman, we can't win with ethnic minorities. And actually we did a lot better, if not win, with that group.
All right. Labour canvassing got it wrong quite a lot of the time. I mean, speaking off the record to Labour candidates at the time, they weren't sensing that Labour were going to do as well as they did in terms of share of the vote. So what went wrong there?
Well, look, it's actually what went right. We were doing the work, but this was a short campaign. I think you can't get round your entire electorate, and what you tend to do in a short campaign, as the pollsters know, is you focus on the people who previously have canvassed for you, and therefore, to a certain extent, what you're trying to do is to shore up the vote that you think is going to be yours.
We're out of programme time, so sorry, we've literally got 10 seconds. Inquiry, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes? No?
I think it's so obvious it doesn't need an inquiry.
Right, OK, that's it for today. On that note, say thank you very much to you two for being my guests of the day.